He's still a gym rat. He loves people.
He really loves to train and go out and help other horses.
And so we call him the coach here. And people have taken on that moniker for him as well.
Just to see him use that champion personality of his now as an assistant coach and not as a player has just been truly unbelievable. I just think he did a brilliant job of giving I'll Have Another the confidence that it took to win the Bob Lewis and the San Diego Derby and the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. If I'll Have Another could talk, the first guy he would think would be Lava Man.
They are an ever-present feature at every racetrack, but often go unnoticed.
If I have a calming pony, it really does feed off onto the horse. One word we use to describe really good ponies is bomb-proof. You would like to think of if a bomb went off right next to the pony wouldn't even move, wouldn't flinch, wouldn't look at it. And that's a massive thing, I think, in getting a horse to the races in a good frame of mind.
Trainers and horsemen will tell you that the pony can mean the difference between a horse truly running his race or losing focus. This is the story of perhaps the world's most famous pony. Lava Man's story starts in Stockton, California. He cut his teeth on the fair circuit, which was viewed by many as coming from the wrong side of the horse racing tracks. The Dark Bay California bred proved to be an uppity colt and was quickly gelded in an effort to calm his feisty demeanor. He found his first taste of success on the turf of Golden Gate Fields, finishing second in an allowance race. His connections then took the horse south to Del Mar Racetrack. After some promising races at Del Mar, he caught the eye of trainer Doug O'Neill and was claimed for $62,500.
I remember Doug calling me originally when he wanted to claim him, and I wasn't real keen on it. You know, a horse that's, 35 to 1 first time out for maiden 12-5 at a fair. You know, I was having a hard time actually with the claim, but it's one of those ones that obviously worked out pretty well.
Very first time we ran him, he won, I believe, the Pomona Derby trial. We were very happy with what we had. He was in great condition, and he was a 3-year-old. He was a Calbred.
This time in town, they come for home, and it's all Lava Man. Gonna be the easiest of winners out here. Lava Man and Omar Figueroa romping in the Derby trial.
Right before them, he raced a few times with John Court, and I even told John Court, try to stay on this horse because this is the best horse we ever had.
He just kept getting better and better. He was one of those horses that the more he ran, the better he got.
He was a pretty easy horse to gallop. Nice, you can do whatever you want with him. If you're just jogging or galloping, nice, really cool horse.
Lava Man showed steady improvement as a racehorse, and after taking the Grade 2 Californian at Hollywood Park, on a hunch, Team O'Neill entered Lava Man in the 2005 Hollywood Gold Cup. There, Lava Man would rewrite the record books.
Hollywood Gold Cup, that's when we were like, holy mackerel. That really got everyone's attention.
Just about set to go for the Hollywood Gold Cup. Lava Man, and congrats, go for the front. Through from the inside, Borrego might get second. No way does he catch the winner, and the winner's Lava Man! Wow, huge win for Lava Man. He won by about 9. Borrego...
Winning by a record 8 lengths and registering a Beyer speed figure of 120, one of the fastest speed figures ever. While the horse continued to impress on the track, his effort in the 2005 Pacific Classic caught the attention and admiration of the racing public.
That's when he really won me over, to see a horse just give everything. It was heartbreaking and heart-wrenching and thrilling all at the same time, and that solidified me being a fan of Lava Man.
He brought everything to that race, and like he did with all the races, but that race in particular, there's a very few that will push themselves to that point of fatigue.
Lava Man put forth an effort that left him so exhausted, he had to be vanned off the track. He suffered no ill effects from the race, but his determination and desire made him an immediate fan favorite. Lava Man then followed up a successful 2005 season with a 2006 season for the ages.
Lava Man and Corey Nakatani have won the big cap to a very gallant Magnum. Lava Man has the lead. He's put away Magnum. The ace blue is charging. Lava Man Big blow down the center and Super Frolic, but Lava Man, he just put them away with that same turn of foot. And Lava Man and Corey Nakatani take the Goodwood Breeders' Cup Handicap.
The San Anita Handicap, the Hollywood Gold Cup, the Pacific Classic, the Goodwood, the Grade 1 Charlie Whittingham on the grass going to Mount Quarter. I don't think there's ever been a horse to sweep all them races for a year straight like he did.
He could be the Triple Crown of older horses in California. That's how I call it myself.
Despite his greatness, Lava Man had one fatal flaw. When he left the grounds of the Golden State, he did not fare well. Late in 2006, during his record-breaking season, Lava Man traveled to Churchill Downs to run in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
In behind those two now, Inversor's coming on, Gately as well.
For whatever reason, never was able to duplicate his California form outside of California.
He finished a dismal 7th and ultimately lost Horse of the Year honors to the Classic winner Inversor.
He was always kind of an intense horse, which I think was kind of to his detriment a lot when we shipped and stuff. He didn't like that. It would take him a while to settle in when he shipped.
With each trip out of California, we'd try to take him a little bit farther out or do things a little bit differently, trying to get to offset that the traveling blues with him, but never were able to overcome that. But you know, as soon as you got him back to California, he was settled and right back giving you 110%.
Despite his poor showing away from California, Lava Man continued to be a fan favorite.
There's a couple things about him that, to the modern day, like John Henry, for example, is what they compared him to. And the races that he won in that 06 year were just amazing.
He was a fighter. He was a horse that had a lot of courage. Not like other horses. Not to put any others down, but more pressure was put on him. He was a fighter. He didn't want anyone to surpass him.
He kind of had that Mike Tyson about him in the paddock. You know, he'd be on his toes and almost like he intimidated the competition a lot of times.
He worked his way up to the big time, and he deserved every bit of it.
2007, Sunshine Millions, people giving him an ovation before he even crossed the finish line. I mean, he's just meant so much to so many people, including myself.
Go between finishing strongly, and here's Icy Atlantic with a late run, but the class of Lava Man is once again too much for them, and Lava Man wins it well.
He was tough. I remember the one race that he did lose, I came back to see him, and he literally had his back to everybody. And I tried to get his attention, and he gave me a look that said, no, not now.
I was disappointed in the way the voting went in Horse of the Year and stuff like that, because he brought so many fans from all over the country.
In 2007, Lava Man continued his assault on the record books by taking the Santa Anita Handicap for a second straight year and the Hollywood Gold Cup for a third. The only other horse to equal Lava Man's success at the Hollywood Gold Cup was Hall of Famer Native Diver in 1967. In addition, 2007 saw Hollywood Park install a cushion track, which meant that Lava Man was the only horse ever to win Grade 1 races on 3 different surfaces. By 2008, Lava Man was headed toward retirement. Initially, he was to make his home at the Kentucky Horse Park in Lexington, Kentucky. However, a degenerative condition in his ankles required that Lava Man stay at McGalley Farm to convalesce.
At the end there, he started getting some inflammation in his ankles. The cartilage, just from years of training and racing, was kind of thinned and not as healthy as you would like.
We had a small seminar, stem cell seminar. The ranch manager saw us talking about the use of bone marrow and stem cells and ligament, tendon, but also joint therapy. And he asked me to look at Lava Man and x-ray him. We looked at him and realized that he did have some osteoarthritis that was starting, and usually it's progressive.
It was decided to try a new procedure involving Lava Man's own stem cells to regenerate the damaged cartilage.
Dr. Doug Herthel up at Alamo Pintado has done a lot of work for us for years, and he's always on the cutting edge. He's always thinking of like, God, how else can we do this naturally to help these horses recover from injuries?
Our goal was to get him where he's got a quality of life. And he just didn't seem, he seemed very bored with standing in the pasture.
Lava Man's reaction to the therapy was, in a word, astounding.
His MRI was incredible. The radiologist, when he read the MRI, the cartilage volume had come back, and you could see it.
It was extremely successful. They say it's unheard of for any living being to regrow cartilage, but his cartilage was thicker because of it.
When we did the bone strength testing, it was really off the charts.
Dr. Hart would call and say, you guys got to come down here and see this horse. I mean, he looks like a 2-year-old again. So we went down, Doug and I went down there a couple times, and it was unbelievable how well he had done through this stem cell thing. The ankles really never bothered him after that.
These horses all have long lives after racing. You know, Lava Man's a sound, happy, healthy individual. And I really think Dr. Herthel has a lot to do with how well he's doing.
Now a rejuvenated and finally retired Lava Man needed a new job, and in the barn of Team O'Neill, he would quickly find one. In the process, he would again capture the attention of the racing public. After a successful stem cell procedure, Team O'Neill decided to convert the California champion into a pony.
Part of it was selfish. Everyone around the barn just absolutely loves Lava Man. He's just been with us for so long, and he's just part of the barn.
One of the major owners wanted us to break him off with the saddle so he could take him back to Arizona and use him for trail and stuff like that. So the first few months when I asked Sabas, my assistant, to make him a pony, we hid him. We told him he wasn't ready until everything was forgotten, and that's what we got.
In all honesty, the process of turning him into a pony I thought might be a little challenging because he's such a competitive horse.
I didn't think it was going to be possible, to be honest with you, because he was just so tough. I couldn't imagine that he would want to do that.
He is Lava Man. He's like the pet of the block, the pet of the house. He doesn't work as hard as the other ponies. For him, I think it's like a hobby. I feel that he just loves to be on the track. It's the first thing he wants to do. Be on the track in the morning. He's happy.
I did visit him once when he was turned out up at Magali Farms, and he ran, I watched him one day running the fence line back and forth, trying to get all of those little youngsters in the pen across from him in line and paying attention to him. So I guess maybe I saw a glimmer of that a couple years before it happened, but I didn't think he could do it, but I was wrong.
It'd be almost like a guy who's in the gym every day and comes up with an issue where he can't compete anymore, but you know, you can't take him out of the gym all of a sudden just abruptly, you know, take him down to the bingo hall and have him hang out at the bingo hall.
Lava Man picked up the job quickly, and his leadership and experience began to manifest itself in the barn and the track.
Sabas Rivera just did an unbelievable job. He spent a couple hours a day after work working with him.
At the beginning, it was the same. I'd go and saddle him up, but I wouldn't accompany the horses because I was just beginning to train him. Maybe he spent 2 or 3 hours on the track, on the chute. I just show him how to turn, make figure eights. Pretty much the basics for a horse that's just training. And after some time, well, it took 2 months, maybe more.
Sabas has a very unique way of converting racehorses into ponies. He'll take the bit right out of the horse's mouth and he'll re-brake them. He's just using their chin as his brake.
I knew he would consent to something more than other ponies. But he went along learning. He paid attention to what I was trying to show him.
Sabas used to just walk him around when he took the saddle off to the wash rack. And he did it a couple of times without a tie. And suddenly he did it on his, he walked by himself, and Sabas thought he was going to run away. And so he got into the grain and lift one of those grain lifters, and then they start eating. So we're all laughing. And he's been doing it since, for now.
We all thought he was crazy. After Sabas worked with him so long, you got to see this bond of horse and rider that was just incredible. All these amazing things that we're able to come to the surface, these are the benefits that we get to enjoy.
In 2012, a promising 3-year-old named I'll Have Another had the O'Neill barn abuzz. But the chestnut stallion was immature and prone to overexcitement. So the team decided to partner the upstart with the wily veteran.
Actually, it was my idea. I noticed they liked each other, they don't want to bite each other, and I'll Have Another was a tough horse to handle, and immediately him and Lava Man, they didn't fight.
They were buddies. They knew each other really well.
Sometimes you'd see Lava Man quiet, and I'll Have Another be prancing, and then Lava Man would kind of bump into him like, hey, knock it off, kid. And I'll Have Another would calm down, and Lava Man would start prancing, you know, like this tough coach.
He was more aggressive with the other ponies than with Lava Man. So it was as if they had their own language. They had their own form of communication.
I'll Have Another, before he ran his first race, he was one that we would classify as very talented but slightly goofy. So we were trying to work with get rid of the goofy and improve on the talent, because we knew he had the talent.
I'll Have Another and Lava Man went together the morning of over to Santa Anita, and I remember going to the backside checking on him about 10 in the morning. I called Doug and I said, you know, we got a little bit of a problem here, and Doug was like, oh no, what's going on with I'll Have Another? I said, no, it's not I'll Have Another, it's Lava Man.
They are followed by I'll Have Another, number 4. He's owned by Redham Racing. His trainer is Doug O'Neill, and the rider, Mario Gutierrez.
He says, what's wrong with Lava Man? I said, I think he thinks he's running. I said, because I'll Have Another was standing in the corner nice and relaxed, and I'll Have Another, and Lava Man was up in the front of the stall weaving in his head, and he was getting washed out. I said, you know, you better be careful here. We better take another horse just in case. But I think that was a case where he kind of had a flashback and thought, you know what, I'm running today. I got to get my game shoes on. But he was fine after that. He only did it the one time.
Despite Lava Man's unusual behavior, I'll Have Another went on to win the Santa Anita Derby and punched his ticket to run in the Kentucky Derby.
What he did with I'll Have Another over the past year, to me, is nothing short of brilliant. I mean, I'm totally convinced a lot of what happened with I'll Have Another was because of Lava Man. Lava Man was stable next to him through the whole thing. You know, they were together every day, and he ponied him to the track every day at Churchill. 2 weeks before Churchill, when we were in there, he had mornings, especially when it was cold and he was really on his toes. And there would be mornings they'd go to the track and you would just see Lava Man like throw his body sideways into him, just like...
To us, it looked like Lava Man was telling him, relax, breathe. We had a lot of media and a lot of visitors come towards I'll Have Another, and once they heard Lava Man was there, they would go over to Lava Man, and so it took a lot of pressure away from I'll Have Another.
Often, many times, that people weren't asking about I'll Have Another, they were asking about Lava Man.
It was so fun to go through that with the two of them together, two champions in my mind.
What was noted during I'll Have Another's pursuit of the crown is how popular his pony became. News organizations and fans would flood the O'Neill barn, not in search of the Derby and Preakness winner, but for Lava Man. And to the amazement of the racing public, Team O'Neill invited a wide range of people to see and even ride the $5 million horse.
We put kids on him now. I mean, he's the most laid back. He's still a tough guy, but he's completely turned off the competitive juices, and it's been able to turn that brilliant racing career into a brilliant assistant coach for us at the barn. Just to see him use that champion personality of his now as an assistant coach and not as a player has just been truly unbelievable, and it's helped really gain a lot of new fans that maybe didn't see him race but now have known him as an assistant coach. He's still a star in our barn.
Lots of people calling from all over the United States, sending bags of food for him, cookies, and anywhere that I go, I still fly around, and they always give me well wishes for Lava Man.
He was thrilling on the track, in his stall, the way he interacted with, his fans. He knew he was something special. He expected the attention. It was incredible. It was a thrill to be able to meet him.
And Lava Man and Cory Nakatani have won the big capture, a very gallant magnum.
Everybody's grows up, they have a hard time, and he was that horse that grew up in the projects, the Bronx, whatever you want to call it. I tell people, doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you do. If you set your mind to it like a Lava Man did, you can become the best, and he was definitely the best.
Doesn't take long for people who loved seeing what he did out on the racetrack to love him as well in the barn area.
It's exciting. We've got some other promising 2-year-olds, and he works every day with them, and the sky's the limit. What's going to happen next?
Well, too bad it's a gelding, and we don't have any other little lava mans.
When visitors come and meet him in person, he's every bit of the horse that you had dreamt he would be. He's very personable, and yet he's very powerful.
Like I said, we love to enjoy him for many, many more years to come, because I think he still have a lot of tricks, a lot of new stuff to teach us. As humans, we're learning a lot of stuff from him so we can become a real horse people.
He has spotlighted what retired racehorses can do. They can have lots of careers, and even a stellar racehorse like that has the opportunity to give back.
Speaks volumes to the younger horses, whatever he does. They take notice, and I'm sure in horse lingo, they are all talking about him on a nightly basis, what a stud he was and what a stud he is, and so hopefully he'll be around with us for a long time.
I'm here with the one and only $6 million horse. This is Lava Man. Lava, what are you looking at? And how is your big horse doing? I know you don't want to look at him over there right now. You're trying to be coy. Really? Doing okay? Take a look at him now. Is this what you expect to see from a Derby winner? You taught him everything he knows? Really? You wish you could have some fillies? He can talk.